Hello again everyone from Tokyo, Japan, and welcome back to Japan Vintage Camera and my second video today from this rather chilly morning at Hinokicho Park. It's warming up a little bit more now that the sun is coming out higher, and looks like a lot of people are coming to the park today. Of course, it's going to be a really beautiful day to come out and hang out. The ice skating rink is open and a lot of people are coming here to enjoy, I guess, a typical winter day here in Tokyo. The subject of my second video today is going to be the Konica Pearl 3 medium format 6x4.5 camera, and this particular one is called the Pearl 3 MX, which was introduced in 1956. For those of you who are new to my channel, I sell vintage Japanese cameras at my online store, japanvintagecamera.com, my Etsy store, which is also called Japan Vintage Camera, and I have an eBay store as well. This camera happens to be listed for sale right now, so if you're interested in buying it, please check out the links to my stores. I'll post links to my stores in the description below the video. So the Konica Pearl series was introduced in 1949 and was produced until 1958, and quite a different number of models and variations were produced. The 1, 2, and 3 series were all based on the same basic chassis and featured a number of improvements over the years. The Konica Pearl 4 was a unique camera built on a completely, I guess, separate or new design. The Pearl 3 camera was an extremely well-made and rugged camera and was quite popular here in Japan, maybe in other places as well, and quite a large number of them were built. They were a very nice, easy-to-handle, compact camera which you could easily fit inside a coat pocket or, say, in a pocket in cargo shorts or something like that. They featured very good quality in the materials and workmanship, and very similar to the high quality which Konica used in their 35mm cameras at the time. Let's go ahead and take a look at the features, controls, and functions of the Pearl 3, starting at the top here. And when I look at the top here, I really love this really cool Art Deco design. It reminds me a lot of the hotels which I used to see on Ocean Drive in South Beach. The way it curves over like that, and we have these horizontal lines and the round window here, then the rectangle window for the viewfinder. It's a really cool design. At the top here we have this black disc which we can turn. And on this black disc we have a list of settings. We have, of course, empty, color, infrared, and panchro. And what this is, you turn this dial to remind you what kind of film you have loaded inside the camera. Moving over to the right side here, we have a shoe for mounting a flash gun. And it's a cold shoe, of course. If you want to operate a flash with this camera, you'll need one with a sync cord. And you can plug it into the shutter on the camera when it's opened up. The small button here looks like a shutter release button, but it's actually the button which opens the front of the camera like so. So push this button, the front pops open, and all the important stuff is located here. Moving to the lens assembly, the first thing we notice is the focus tab here on the base, and this focus tab is arranged in feet, and we have a close focus distance of about maybe 3.5 feet. Behind that we have a series of numbers here, and this is the depth of field scale, which lets you know how much depth of field you have at any given aperture. In front of that we have a dial here for selecting the aperture, and behind that here we have the flash sync cord, which I mentioned earlier. On the bottom here we have this red lever, and this is for selecting the different shutter modes for flash. These are unimportant for using a modern strobe flash, but if you're using a classic flash which uses the old flash bulbs, then you'll have to set this to like the X or F setting. And before that we have, of course, this is the shutter charging dial, and here we have the shutter speed dial itself. And over on the left hand side here we have the shutter release button, which is kind of like on the opposite side you might expect it. Folding and unfolding the camera is very simple. Opening the camera is simply pushing the button here. When you're folding the camera, you have to be very, very careful to make sure that the camera is focused to infinity. That is, that the lens is pushed all the way down. To close the camera, you push down with your thumbs on either side here on these flat tabs and simply lock it in place like this. Be careful when you are closing the camera to make sure the lens is focused to infinity. Otherwise it kind of sticks out. And you can damage the mechanism here, the folding mechanism, if you don't fold the camera properly. And also, like I once came across a Pearl 4 camera where someone tried to force it closed with the lens focused out and actually broke the base of the shutter assembly, which was quite bad and difficult to fix. On the back of the camera, we have simply the viewfinder window, and unlike the earlier Pearl cameras, the Pearl 3 has a combined viewfinder and rangefinder system. So all you have to do is simply look through the viewfinder and focus the camera until a split image lines up. You don't have to play with a separate or uncoupled rangefinder and then program the settings into the lens. Here you just simply focus the camera and shoot. A wonderful feature that this camera has compared to earlier ones is the film counter system. So when you're operating the camera, all you really have to do is wind the camera until the next number pops up and you're at the next frame. You shoot and push the lever like this and wind again to the next frame, and so on and so on. Go ahead and show how to load the film into the Konica 3A. The first thing you have to do is simply when you reach the end of the roll of film, you'll come to a red V mark. And when you reach the red V mark, then the camera is ready to, you've reached the end of the roll of film, and then you can load the film. To load the film, you pull up on this tab here, open the film door like so, insert your take-up spool on the right side, like this one is already inserted, and insert your film spool on the left side. And this is spring-loaded on the top here, this pin, to make it easier to load the film. Set your roll of film on the inside, pull your film leader across. As I've said in other videos about loading medium format film, fold over the paper tab on the end till it's a nice crisp, like 90 degrees, and stick it inside this slot here, and then hold down with your thumb and kind of push the paper along as you are winding. And do that until you're sure that the spool is gripping the paper tightly and isn't going to pull out when you start to wind the film. And simply keep winding until the alignment arrows on the back of the paper backing on the film line up with these two white dots. When the arrows lined up, close the film door, latch it back into place, and simply wind the winder until the number 1 is showing in the window and the camera is ready to go. Now this is a 6x4.5 format camera, so it has kind of a rectangular field of view, and if you're going to be holding it in this position here, the vertical position, you're going to be getting a kind of a vertical rectangular field of view, which is really good for shooting portraits and things like that. But if you're shooting landscapes or things like that, other things, you're going to have to hold the camera sideways. Now these cameras come with this really handy tab which you can fold down, and that allows you to set the camera like so on a flat surface and take a really nice, smooth and steady picture. We also have a tripod socket, a standard 1/4" tripod socket located on the bottom here. When you're operating one of these cameras, this doesn't have any electronics or anything like that, so you're going to need a handheld light meter or a light meter app for your smartphone. You can download these apps for your smartphone for free, and they work quite well. And all you have to do is input the film speed of the film you're using into your app, and then take a reading. It's kind of like using the camera in your phone, and the app will recommend a shutter speed and aperture. When you get the shutter speed and aperture, simply program it using the aperture ring here and the shutter speed ring, and say when that is set, go ahead and charge the shutter like so. Then look through the viewfinder and focus the camera until the split images are aligned. Then compose, and with the button here, just shoot, and that's all there is to it. And then go ahead and wind to the next frame, and you're ready to take another photograph. So quite simple, and maybe not as convenient as modern digital photography, but still modern digital cameras do not offer anything close to the resolution that you can get with this 1956 Konica Pearl 3 camera. Once again, when you are folding the camera, make absolutely sure, positively sure, that you focus it to infinity and then close the camera like so. Anyway, that's it for my video today about the Konica Pearl 3 medium format, rangefinder camera. As I said, this camera is listed for sale right now at my Etsy store and my online store, JapanVintageCamera.com. I'll be making more videos this week as I'm expecting more cameras to come in. So if you'd like to see more of these videos, please subscribe. If you like the video, please like it. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you tune in again soon.